Russian aviation has been subject to harsh restrictions for more than 2 years. The government allocated funds to support it. A portion of the funds were used to subsidize domestic airlines, while the remainder was used to compensate for increased fuel prices. By the beginning of March 2022, Russia had 1,290 aircraft in operation, with 70% being foreign, largely modern Airbus and Boeing models. They were largely leased, rented with the option to purchase. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, lessors demanded the return of these planes, which were seized outside of Russia. Within the country, the surviving planes were basically confined. Transport Minister Vitaly Savelyev stated that the government had opted to appropriate someone else's property. The planes were re-registered in the Russian registry, but even countries that did not join the sanctions are refusing to accept them. Andrei Litvinov, an aircraft commander and accomplished Aeroflot pilot who retired in 2022, believes that Russian civil aviation would take decades to recover from its current difficulties. He doubts the feasibility of the government's 70 billion ruble initiative, which intends to construct approximately 1,000 planes in Russia by 2030. He also predicts significant personnel issues for Aeroflot, Russia's major airline, in the near future. Speaking on the spares situation, he told Khodorkovsky Live Channel this month, "China doesn't want to cooperate with us. They've refused to supply us with spare parts." Iran somehow finds parts for its planes, but it's important to understand that Iran operates old aircraft. Modern planes are packed with electronics, and you can't just install some ancient components on them. So comparing these two types of import substitution is simply incorrect. Andrei Litvinov's arguments are especially relevant when comparing the Russian and Iranian civil aviation situations. The average age of Iran's commercial aircraft exceeds 25 years, with many requiring extensive maintenance. According to recent reports, Iran has resorted to purchasing older aircraft from the Taliban, including a 29-year-old McDonnell Douglas MD-82, suggesting a failing aviation fleet and limited choices for acquiring contemporary jets. The Iranian Civil Aviation Organization has acknowledged the need for around 550 aircraft. However, just 180 are now operational. In contrast, Russia has a fleet of modern airplanes that are heavily integrated with innovative electronics and systems. These planes employ sophisticated technology that cannot handle obsolete components without considerable modifications. The technology difference between Iran and Russia is crucial since it impacts operational efficiency, safety, and overall aviation performance. Speaking about domestic aircraft, Andrei Litvinov said, "As for new planes, the same goes for the Superjet. It's conditionally Russian, but 70% of it is made from imported components. Complete import substitution isn't on the horizon yet. Production is failing to meet the airline's needs. One problem leads to another, and it all snowballs. Aviation is not an industry where you can solve everything with a magic wand. This will stretch on for a long time." He further said, "Electronics are the most complex part of an aircraft. Take the engine on the Superjet. They keep trying to substitute imports, but it hasn't even passed certification yet. Then comes the next problem. They substitute the engine, only to find out it costs as much as the entire plane. They started replacing components in the MC-21, and it turned out to weigh 6 tons more than initially planned. This means reduced range, lower altitude, and it starts becoming economically unfeasible. And all these issues need to be solved in a comprehensive manner, not individually. Aircraft and helicopters consist of tens of thousands of parts, and it's impossible to substitute them all at once. So how does Russia keep its planes flying? Russia is using several strategies to keep its foreign aircraft operating. Russian airlines are increasingly relying on local maintenance, repair, and overhaul businesses to service Western-built aircraft. For example, S7 Technics gained experience repairing CFM56 engines found in Airbus A320 and Boeing 737 airplanes. This change enables Russian carriers to extend the operational life of their current fleets without relying on Western sources for spare parts. S7 Technics has begun doing sophisticated repairs that were previously unavailable locally, such as work on engines' hot core components. This capacity is critical because it eliminates the need for aftermarket engine replacements, which are becoming increasingly difficult as a result of sanctions. With restricted access to spare parts from Western manufacturers, Russian airlines have turned to cannibalizing components from stopped aircraft. This approach enables them to keep operating jets running by reusing parts from decommissioned aircraft. Russian airlines are also exploring non-Western buying channels. This strategy frequently incurs higher prices, yet it is vital for obtaining certain components that cannot be obtained from traditional vendors owing to penalties. In April 2023, Aeroflot dispatched an Airbus plane to Iran for repairs, signing a contract for continuous maintenance services. This collaboration is essential since Iran suffers similar aviation issues and may supply maintenance services that are no longer available through Western suppliers. Despite these efforts, analysts expect that Russian airlines will suffer significant operating limits in the next years due to a lack of spare parts and technical support from Western manufacturers. The viability of their existing methods is dubious, as they navigate the intricacies of international sanctions and the aging of their foreign fleets. Andrei Litvinov says, "We are definitely facing problems with spare parts. We have to obtain them through third countries. People are complaining about the work environment, salaries, flight delays, and cancellations, all due to a shortage of flight attendants in Aeroflot. All of this, combined with sanctions, is causing a lot of unrest among the flight crew, and people are leaving. They're moving to other airlines, seeking a better life in the CIS, abroad, wherever they can." Do you think the Russian aviation business will deteriorate in the coming decade? Let us know in the comments. Please like and share the videos and subscribe to the channel. Please also take our memberships to encourage us.